Okay. Alrighty. Welcome back. We're picking where we left it last time when we talk about this. Now, like I said with issue 8, this is the issue where Eric O'Grady runs the team. And he's on the roster into issue 20. Yes. And the reason why he leaves issue 20 because he gets transferred with Thunderbolts. And he's there for throughout the Dark Reign stuff until Siege. And then he gets moved to Siege Avengers where he dies. Yep. So, yeah. So, by the way, the whole thing with of course, they have reference to with issue 8, we have some new recruits. Basically, we have Dragon Lord, Geiger, Red 9, Diamondback. Yeah, these are only issue 9 of all things. Yes, issue 9. Issue 8, excuse me, yes. This does start the KIA storyline. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they also added triathlon to. We also have this guy known as the Crusader appears in this book, who previously appeared in issues 20, 23, and 24. Yeah, so the thing with Crusader is he's a Skrull. They reveal this half of the book, and they get supposedly killed by Iron Man. Then he just disappears. Oh, by the way, with Gauntlet taken out, he gets placed by Taskmaster, and then Taskmaster himself pretty much is in this book until the very end. Yep. So, yeah, the KIA storyline. There was this guy who was basically a clone of MVP, who was known as KIA, who he eventually he goes sort of on the rampage. He doesn't kill anybody per se. He does end up going to the father of Michael Von Patrick's house. Mm-hmm. Yes, goes to his house. Yeah, they reveal pretty much in the way that, well, yeah, so they basically bring his son in here. And by the way, the whole thing with him, he pops up once more after this one, issue 25 initiative, which is during the Dark Reign stuff. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for him. Yeah, but as for MVP, well, KI himself is pretty much in a way the main villain of this storyline. Yes. And then, of course, basically because of this stupid nonsense related to KA, he is defeated by issue 11. Yep. And by the way, KA himself is, well, he does pop up again. Like, after the storyline part wraps up, He does pop up once in issue 14 of Avengers Initiative, and he disappears for years until he pops up in Deadpool Assassin. Yes, for some reason they decided to call him brought him back in this book for some reason. And then pretty much on the way with issue 12 of the book, all those trainees we introduced in issue 1, well, the ones who are still alive, the 2 that were not there, everyone else, they all graduate. And I thought this would be a good idea when I was reading this at the time. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. The people graduate, and of course they go into various things. Trauma, of course, stays on as a member of the staff as this group's psychiatrist. Cloud9 joins Freedom Force. Harbaugh joins the Nevada team, which is the heavy hitters. Komodo joins the Arizona team, which is, well, her team, well, she, in case you're curious though, is she was part of the Desert Stars. Yeah, that was her group she was part of. And you might think, is the group still existing? Well, after issue 19, of course, they also popped up in like a couple one-shots. They also appeared in a special, Avengers special. They'll probably put that in the next volume, per se. But she would pop up, the group would pop up again in Fear Itself, Youth Revolt, and that is it for the group. Yep. By the way, in the case of, well, would Harbaugh stay with the group? Well, like after Secret Invasion, he would leave the Heavy Hitters and become part of Hydra, and then he would join Heavy Hitters again, Fear Itself, and then, yeah. Triathlon goes to Hawaii. Yes. Become part of the Point Men. Yes, the Point Men. Where they themselves didn't really appear very much. They appeared initially in this book, per se. They also appeared in some issues that came after this one. And then the last appearance made it was Fear Itself, Youth Revolt #1, and that was it. No, seriously, that was it. The Georgia team basically has Ultra Girl and Thor Girl join the team, while Crusader, Constrictor, and Ant-Man stay part of the team. Yep. And then by issue 13, by the way, Nighthawk was part of the staff, but he actually tried to form his own version of the Defenders, the last Defenders. Now, they are placed with a brand new group of trainees. Basically, we have Butterball, who leaves after this one issue. Yeah. And if you're curious, though, does he return after this one? Yes, he does. Like, after his initial appearance in issue 13, he pops up again during the later issues. Then he popped up in issues Avengers Academy, Fear Itself, Youth Revolt. And as Avengers Academy popped up a couple more times after that, and that was it for him. He still occasionally appeared, which at least got praised for that. There's also Annex. Yes, a character named Annex, who was from Amazing Spider-Man. First appeared back in Amazing Spider-Man number 27. This guy. Yeah, who appeared as a sort of... He appeared back in 1983, mind you. Yes. And here's the thing. Before this book, like between that book and... Well, here's the thing with him. Like, prior to this book, he was featured in his own miniseries. Yes, the character Annex had his own miniseries. When Avengers was released in 1994. Think what? Seriously? Yes. 1994 pops up first in Amazing Spider-Man 27. Then he appears in Spider-Man Unlimited number 3. 3-part issues. 3 issues Mark Hamill presents. 153, 155. Appears on miniseries. Appeared in this one issue. And then he, well, appeared in the book briefly. And then he's part of the book even after when Dark Reign starts out for this book. Yes, basically, after the finale of this book, he does pop up again for a few more issues, and that is it for the character. No, seriously, that's pretty much it for Annex. There's also Prodigy. Yes, from the Stingers. Yep, he pops up in this book, which is interesting to say the least. Yes, because here's the thing. After he initially appeared in the Stingers ongoing series, like after that wrapped up, appeared in one issue GLA, which is Great Like Avengers was a miniseries, an issue Amazing Spider-Man, Civil War number 6. He did appear first issue Initiative, but he didn't appear in the book full in issue 13. And he was part of the book for a little bit, and he was part of the book somewhat sporadically even afterwards. Appeared in Fear Itself, Youth Revolved, and his most recent appearance was actually in, I kid you not, basically after he appeared in Avengers Academy number 26, which I have reviewed this issue by the way in trade, was in Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider. Yeah, that's when he next appeared. There's also Sunstreak, who is basically a woman, who was a character first period of pages of Iron Man of all things. Oh yes, definitely. Like at the pairing those 2 issues of Iron Man. Like here's the thing: prior to her first appearance in this book, her last appearance was back in 1996. Yes, seriously, and it made a return 21, like about 20 years later. Like what the heck? She appears like a few issues of this book, and then she's part of a little bit of Dark Reign stuff, and that is it. Yeah, she doesn't do very much at all. There's also Gorilla Girl. Yes, seriously, there's a character that was a Gorilla Girl. Who... Yeah. Like, prior to this particular issue appeared here, her previous appearance was back in Marvel Tales number 256. Yes, seriously. It was a backup feature for this issue, where she's part of a group known as the Freaks. This issue was released back in 1991. Yes. And then she appeared in this book, per se, appears for a few issues. And after issue 19, he pops up in 2 more issues. And basically, her only appearance after that was in like a few one-shots. So yeah, a character didn't do very much. And then we have Batwing. No, not DC's Batwing. This guy is he's a Kurt Busiek character. Which, here's the thing. He previously appeared back in Untold Tales of Spider number 24, which actually came out in 1997. So he returned 10 years later in this book here. And he was part of this book for a pretty good period of time. Like, up until the final issue. He did miss a few, but he was here for the final issue. Popped up for some issue of Avengers Academy, Fear Itself, Youth Revolved, 1 issue of Avengers Arena, and issue of Humanity Awakening, and that was it. Yep, and those are your new members. Yeah. So this is your lineup for pretty much up until issue number 19, because they pretty much scrapped this lineup even afterward for some reason. Don't know why. But yeah. So as far as the KA stuff, Justice takes the people who were part of the Warriors, who were part of Initiative anyways, basically form Counterforce. The purpose of Counterforce is to monitor the Initiative. And basically to make sure they don't do anything wrong. That's really the purpose of them. And later on, this group became New Warriors. After the other group of New Warriors disbanded. Yep. And then, right after the Butt of All issue, then we have the Secret Agent stuff, which pretty much takes up the rest of this trade, which reveals only 2 people were Skrulls this whole time, this whole book. And that was Thor Girl and Crusader. And that's it. Now, Triathlon, I think, he's written really well in here, and Crusader, I like. So basically, oh, and also, the way these issues are written, it's kind of like Dan Slott was ripping off They Live because of Triathlon's goggles. And he briefly joined Skull Code, Corey of Nap, this wraps up, and then he becomes part of the Ages of Atlas. Yes, seriously, he joins Ages of Atlas for Dark Reign. And he's sparked himself since then. Mm-hmm. And look, there's also this appearance by this woman here. Mystique, and then we have Mutant Zero. Yes, seriously. And who this woman is? Not going to say, because they'll build later on. But yeah, this book is good. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to review Volume 2. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Oh, and fun fact, I have reviewed one of the story arcs that came out that is probably published in Volume 2, and that was the second story arc to come after Secret Invasion. Yes, the second trailer that come out for it. Called Dreams and Nightmares. I have previously reviewed it. Check it out. You had to look it up. Alright? So moving on to Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade. Yes. Why did I get this? I like the Black Knight. Now, in case you're curious though, not the first solo book for Dan Waltman. Nope, this actually was the first published in several years. Because he did have one published in 2015, mind you. This actually came out roughly last year. So when this book came out, this is the first solo book for him in 5 years. Yes. And here's the thing about the look about Black Knight in this book. In the last book he appeared in, which was his own solo book, he didn't actually wear this cape per se. The only reason why I can think they put him in this cape because in the movie Eternals, he's played by the guy who's the star of the Game of Thrones, so they put him in this outfit. So you have this whole thing about the cursed Ebony Blaze. There was also one named Jack appears in this book, who was revealed to be half of the book to be Dan Waltman's daughter. Who the mother is, you might ask? They don't say. For some reason, they don't really say who this person is. It's just that, oh, let me. And her name is Jax Capura, who is Black Knight's daughter. The mother is someone named Astra Capura. Maybe somebody she previously dated. I'm not sure. They don't really go into it at all. Mostly focus on Black Knight. And here's the weird thing about her. She only appears just in this miniseries. And she appears for a one-shot for Death of Doctor Strange, X-Men / Black Knight. And that is it. No, seriously. That was it for her. Yeah. But in the case of Dan Waltman, what did he do after this miniseries wrapped up? Well, he actually died in the first issue, then he came back. Yeah, he did. And you might be curious though, has he appeared since the series wrapped up? He, after his miniseries wrapped up, he later appeared in the last few issues of Sad Avengers, and he's even appeared in the current book for Sad Avengers. Yeah, for the relaunch of the book. Yeah, he's part of the lineup. So that's where you can find him currently. Oh, he also popped up in the Doctor Strange, Death Doctor Strange, X-Men / Black Knight one shot, and Hulk Grand Design Madness. But prior to this miniseries, he previously appeared. He has his own one shot for Blackest Night, and he also was appearing in some issues of Avengers. He was appearing also in like Avengers too, which seems like a good place to put him. So basically, it's just another good story for Black Knight. This sort of book is written by Cy Spurrier, which that seems interesting. The fact he's writing it because, to my knowledge, he's never written Black Knight before. But this book is good, really good. Didn't have a problem. This was a miniseries. Here's the thing: Marvel did announce this was a miniseries that came out, so. I don't know, this book is only 5 issues, believe it or not. Yeah, 5 issues. Now, one thing I do like about this series, it left it open for a sequel. Yes, but they haven't done anything much with it since then. So the whole thing is about investigating about the Ebony Blade itself, and the Avengers being annoyed at Black Knight's presence, despite the fact he is technically Reserve Avenger. So, because I think it's crazy and the stuff with the previous Black Knight book, that's possible. From his perspective, this is right after the events of King in Black. Right after that tie-in for it. That's pretty much you can pick up for him, per se. But he does briefly die, but he comes back. There's more King Arthur lore in here. And by the way, the main villain of this miniseries is Mordred. Morgan Le Fay's son. Yep. Yeah, one thing I at least appreciate, though, it feels like, though, that Cy Spurrier took a lot of inspiration from the classic Black Knight series from the 50s. But also throwing in new stuff for Dan Waltman. I like the development of his character. I also like the fact he's a father now. But it's interesting, though, he has a daughter who's like in her 20s, which begs the question, how old is Dan Waltman supposed to be? Good question. They don't really say at all. It could be probably in his 30s. If that's the case, did he have his daughter when he was a teenager? I don't know. It's like they feel that Jax is his daughter half of the series, and they both assume the title Black Knight by the end of the series. And they at least leave it open for a sequel, which they haven't done yet. Book came only last year, so it's possible I did. By the way, I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's a damn good book per se. So yes, that's it, particular review. Next one's going to be another comic corner, and then be on to Boruto. Okay, next video. Bye.